Hello, everybody. Welcome. If you're in Southern California, which I think most of Financial Partners members are, we're having some torrential rain right now, and that was fun getting here. But it's cold too, so let's hope we get some sunshine next week. And what I'm going to do right now is just wait a little bit for everyone to get online with us because I think there may be some late folks due to the weather. Thank God I had 2 umbrellas in my car, so I was set. And Lily, how about how are you doing? Lily is in Colorado, right?
Yeah. I'm located in Denver. Luckily, today was pretty dry for us. We've been having this past week was like 70 degrees all week, but it's finally starting to cool down and feel like winter. So it's nice. We're hoping for snow maybe in the next week or so. So I'm ready for the snow. I'm done with the heat. So
yes. We're ready for some chilly weather here too. We can't wait for to get out the sweaters.
Exactly. Yes. Sweater weather is the best.
It's the best. And we don't get a lot of it in California. So
you gotta enjoy it while you can.
Yes, for sure. So let's see. I'd like to wait just a tad more, Lily, before we get started to give some people more time to get on. We had about 175 people register, which is great. That's wonderful. A lot of people, I think, are going to be very happy to learn about reverse mortgages from you, Lily. And then also I will be stepping in to talk about estate planning because it's really important that you have an estate plan, especially if you have a reverse mortgage. So we'll get more into that as well. And anybody who is on this, or if you have to leave early, or if you registered and couldn't make it, then this will be recorded and sent to you. So don't worry if you can't stay on the whole time or something happens and you couldn't make it. We're going to send it to you just because you registered, because it's such good, important information. And we're glad to be here to share this. So let's go ahead and get started. And first of all, I would like to thank Mario and Financial Partners for including Lily and myself in helping to educate their members on some, I think, really interesting topics. I think reverse mortgages are super cool. They've come a long way over the years. And now I think that so many people should not be scared of them anymore, like in the olden days. So with that said, I'd like to introduce Lily Gabriel, who is with Land Home Financial Services, and she's been helping Financial Partners members with their reverse estates. I want to say reverse estates, their reverse mortgages. And she's been doing this for, I don't know, how long has it been, Lily?
It's over 5 years now that I've been in the industry.
That's great. Well, we're glad to have you. And Lily and I are going to talk about some of the myths that people think about reverse mortgages. And hopefully we can debunk some of those myths and get you guys some information so you can make some informed decisions about, is a reverse mortgage a good fit for you? So let's get started and start with the number one myth, I think, is people think that when they get a reverse mortgage, they're taking money out of their house, Lily, and they don't have to make a payment like they would if they were taking out a line of credit, right? Or
yeah.
And so
yeah, that's exactly right.
And they think the lender owns their home now.
Yeah. So when you get a reverse, it's just like any other mortgage you would get. The borrower remains on title as the owner. The lender does have a security interest, just like any other mortgage, but the borrower has the freedom to sell, refinance, or pay off the reverse at any time that they would like. And the loan, it's not called due and payable until or as long as any of the loan obligations are met. So as long as the borrower stays in the home as their primary residence, maintains the home, and pays for taxes and insurance during the life of the loan, it won't be called due and payable, and they can stay in the home for as long as they would like. So it's just like any other mortgage where the borrower stays on title as owner.
That's great, because you are not giving your home to the lender, everyone. Exactly. The lender is your buddy, your partner in this transaction, and they want you to, be able to utilize your house for some extra money if you need it. And I just think it's a really neat idea, and I'm finding a lot of people are living longer and they're needing access to some money. So let's go to the second myth. Once loan proceeds are received, you pay taxes on them. People so get money, so they got to pay taxes, right?
Yeah, the proceeds, they are actually not taxable income, and borrowers do not have to pay taxes on the proceeds that they receive. We do recommend, if borrowers have specific questions about taxes or if they receive government benefits, that they consult a financial advisor or the appropriate government agency. We know that all borrower scenarios are different, so we do recommend, if they have special scenarios like that they consult experts. But the proceeds from the reverse, they're not categorized as taxable income, and borrowers don't pay taxes on them.
I love that. Okay. Myth number 3, the borrower is restricted on how to use the loan proceeds.
Yeah, so after the loan closes, the funds that borrowers receive, it's their money to use how they would like. We see a lot of borrowers pay off debt outside of closing, things like credit cards or auto loans. We see people make home improvements or updates. They can supplement retirement income or even invest the funds that they receive. They can pay for medical expenses. And we do have a lot of borrowers who want to age in place. So we have, they use it for long-term in-home care. So the list really is endless of how borrowers can spend the money they receive from the reverse, because it is their money to use how they would like.
Wow, it doesn't get any better than that.
Exactly.
And with so many people that have, it's the baby boomers are kind of, getting up there. And a lot of us, like myself, still have parents who are alive and getting up there. And and then they bought their homes a long time ago. So there's a lot of cash sitting there in that house, just equity, that can be utilized to help improve their life, and or maybe go on some vacations if they want. Enjoy it. And the great thing for me is they don't have to worry about paying that back. It's like money, it's their money, and the house is like the security, and it's just a beautiful situation. So the fourth myth, the home must be free and clear of any existing mortgages in order for you to do a reverse mortgage.
Yeah, this is definitely not the case. We have many borrowers that come to us, and their main goal is actually paying off their current mortgage and eliminating those mortgage payments. So a brief overview of how the reverse works is borrowers qualify for a certain loan amount. And out of that loan amount, all of the closing costs and the fees are paid. And then any mortgage on the home is also paid, because the reverse does have to be in first position. And then after those things are paid, borrowers can receive the remaining proceeds in the form of cash at close, a line of credit, or monthly payments to the borrower. Or they can, do a combination, whatever works best for them. But like I said, many people come to us with the main goal being paying off the reverse, eliminating those mortgage payments, and then if they have enough equity, they can also get a little bit of cash out. So the home definitely does not have to be free and clear to get a reverse.
Nice. Okay. Okay, this one, good one. It's only for poor people. I don't have any money, and so, but I have a house. You're not poor if you have a house, but a lot of people think they are poor because they don't have any money. But it's not, it's such a misconception because you're rich in the home and maybe poor in the cash, but and so a lot of people think, well, it's not for, it's only for people that really don't have anything. But let's talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah, so I mean, that's definitely been the conception for reverses. A lot of people think they're kind of a last resort or only for desperate homeowners. But more and more, we're seeing it as a kind of financial tool to be used during retirement. I actually talk to a lot of financial planners at my job who are considering the reverse for their clients who are entering retirement, along with other strategies. Like I said, the proceeds from the reverse, they can be invested, used as alternative source of funds to preserve other retirement assets, help fund long-term in-home care, and other expenses in retirement. And like you were saying earlier, baby boomers have been paying into their homes for years and years and years. Oftentimes it's one of their biggest assets that they own. And the reverse just allows them to tap into that asset that they've been paying into for years and years, and use that money to their benefit in retirement.
I think it's neat that we have this option. People have this awesome option to, even if they have plenty of money in the bank, they can still tap into their house. They don't have to be cash poor.
Exactly.
They have a nice boat with their financial plan and money in the bank, but there's some smart people out there that see an opportunity to take some extra money out of their house and utilize it for something else, whatever that might be. Maybe you want to buy a gold mine or something like that.
It's a great time to have gold for sure. And kind of just going off of that, we also have a proprietary program, and it allows borrowers with high value homes, multi-million-dollar homes, to access more of their equity. So we do have that program available. But like you said, I've seen people use the reverse and use the proceeds, and they'll draw on those proceeds when they don't want to touch their other retirement assets. In the event of a downturn market, they want to leave their assets there, and they'll use the proceeds instead of, cashing out that money.
That's great. That's really a good point. Lots of good points there. Okay, so here's probably where I'm going to start popping into the webinar, but I want you to chime in a little bit first, because you see this all the time where people are looking to do a reverse mortgage, and you probably see a lot of people don't have a living trust. I know that 85-90% of the population do not have a living trust, and they probably should have a living trust. And especially when people do reverse mortgages, they're not thinking about that part, right? So you're probably noticing that when you're doing reverse mortgages that I don't know. What do you think the percentages of people that you see coming to you for a reverse mortgage? Do they have living trusts, or do you find that they don't? A lot of them don't.
I mean, like you were saying, it's a very high percentage that don't have the living trust in place. And I think maybe part of that is because they think if they have the reverse on the home, they kind of assume that there won't be any equity left to pass on to heirs when the loan is called due and payable. And that may not be the case. A lot of times when the last borrower passes away, there is equity left to pass on to heirs. And if there's not a living trust in place, the home will have to go through probate. And that can be a very slow and time-consuming process. You know, sometimes it can take even years to get through that. So we really recommend, if borrowers are looking into a reverse, also to look into a living trust, just so they don't have to go through that probate process.
Right. And it's very painful. It's painful for the lender too.
Yes.
You have to wait around, and then the heirs have to wait around, and it's a very time consuming process. And it's about, I would say on average, 18 months to get it through a full process of probate. So we talked about why it's important to have a living trust just now with a mortgage. So you just want to know that most people who pull money out of their homes for a reverse mortgage, they still have equity, and the homes keep going up. So you might have done a reverse mortgage a few years ago, and maybe, I don't know, what's kind of the average you can put? I mean, how does it work for maybe just is FHA or whatever conventional loan? How much can you pull out? Like if you have $1 million house, are there different levels or percentages that you consider?
The loan amount available to borrowers, it's based on a couple different things. It's based on the age of the youngest borrower, the home value, and current rates. So younger borrowers qualify for less funds since it's assumed they'll be in the home for longer. So the lender wants to preserve a bit more of that equity to take into account that time frame. But depending on those three things, we see people qualify for loan amounts anywhere between 30 to maybe even 60% if we're looking at a much older borrower. So it can vary quite broadly, but generally if people want to like get cash out, we say you should probably have 50% or more equity in the home.
Mm-hmm. So guys, there's 50% of equity from the get-go that will go to probate, that could be passed on to your heirs. That needs to be protected by having that home in a living trust. That's super important. So, and of course, as time goes on, the homes are going up. So there's going to be probably more than 50%. So that's equity. And a lot of people say, well, I always ask you, well, do you own your home? Well, I don't own it. The bank owns it, is what I get. I said, no, but you own the home. You are on title to that house. You have a lien against the home when you bought it. But no, you own that home, and the lender has loaned you the money to help you buy that home, but you have a lot of equity that will be affected if you don't make sure that you have it in a revocable living trust. So I'm going to take it from here, and then Lily, jump in if you have something to add. But let's talk about an estate plan, because that's what I do. My name is Michelle, by the way, if I didn't introduce myself. I work with AmeriEstate Legal Plan. We've been partnered with financial planners since I think it's been like 20 plus years to help their members set up their own estate plans. And so that's who they refer us to their clients, and they actually help their clients get some of the paperwork started as well. So we can then do the process that the members need to get them their fully completed estate plan. So what is an estate plan? Is basically something that you set up, and it determines what happens to a person's assets other than after death, And it also helps them while they're alive and they can't, not maintain, but they become incapacitated or something's happening to them when they're alive. The living trust steps up in that respect as well. So that's what an estate plan is a living, we're talking about the living trust. Now, estate plans can also mean, like if you're an 18-year-old, what does an 18-year-old need in the way of documents? They're adults now. Minimally, their estate plan will be powers of attorney for health and finance because they're an adult now. And they need to make sure if something happens to them that they have these documents in place that will allow somebody to act on their behalf if they go to the hospital and talk to the doctors, or if they maybe get in a car accident or something's going on, somebody needs to take over their affairs, pay their bills, talk to others on their behalf. So that's the minimum estate plan that a young adult should have. Also, an estate plan is going to avoid the lengthy processes as we talked about going through like probate. Because if somebody passes away without a living trust or an estate plan, that's going to go through that process, and the state is going to make sure that their estate will pass down to who the state says it's going to go to. Because if you pass away without a living trust, then, and even if you pass, if you pass away without a will, the state that you live in has no choice but to go by the state's plan and distribute your assets after it goes through this probate process to whoever the state says goes to, not who you would have chosen. Let's talk about who needs a living trust. This is kind of a cool slide because a lot of people think, well, I have a simple estate. I don't need a living trust because I'm pretty simple. I have a house and I have some minor kids and I really don't need to bother with that. Well, let's talk about that. Look at this slide here. Who needs a living trust? Parents of minor children or special needs dependents. Homeowners. If you own a home, you have investment properties, you have land. A living trust is super important because those are the first things that will go through a probate process. If you're in a second marriage, maybe you have children from a prior marriage. That's the Brady Bunch. And what if dad passes first and he has his kids and she has her kids, and you don't have a set plan together? Then it's going to be a disaster if one of you passes first. And we see what happens when there's blended families. It's a mess. So you got to set something up while you both can to make sure that everybody who you are leaving your assets to can not get in a fight and there won't be any issues. So be sure you do that because it's important with blended families. Anybody who has assets that trigger probate. Well, what triggers probate other than real estate? Well, every state has their threshold, but we'll talk California right now since most people are in California here. If you have assets like financial assets, that's stocks, bonds, CDs, bank accounts, savings accounts, things that you might have you and your husband on as joint tenants, or if you have cars, if you have toys like planes and boats and all that, if all of those things add up to over $204,000 and you do not have them either titled into a revocable living trust or have a beneficiary on them, that will trigger a probate. All those get combined together and it triggers kind of a stop. So if somebody was going to try and go in and get access to your bank accounts with a death certificate and you have passed and you're the only one on that bank account, the bank's going to freeze that. And then they're going to say, wait a minute, there's no beneficiary and this is, you got to let me know what the value of your estate is. And if it's over $204,000, everything is going to be frozen. So it does matter on the value of these types of assets upon passing. And, a lot of people have investment properties, rentals, business buildings, land, things like that. Those are all probatable assets as well. So it's really simple to make sure that those are protected by getting a living trust and retitling those out of just your names into your living trust. That's kind of the mechanics of how it works. And also, when you have a living trust, and if you become incapacitated, which is happening a lot these days, we have the population getting older and things are happening. Having a revocable living trust, which houses in our document right here, it houses your powers of attorney for health and finance as well. Those documents, along with the revocable living trust, are super important so others can manage your affairs while you're alive, but you can't do it anymore. It's too late to set up documents oftentimes if you become incapacitated. So you want to do them while you're well and healthy and you're feeling good. Don't wait till you're not feeling good to set it up. So there are some common ways to manage your estate. The first way is the do nothing way, which we all know what that is. We have done nothing. We don't even have powers of attorney in place. It's just do nothing. That's what most people have. The second way I see is a will. I do see some clients come in that, oh yeah, they have a will, but most of them do not have anything. And they're like, I know I've been needing to do this for a long time and I don't even have a will. But for those of you who have done a will, congratulations, because most people haven't even done that. The next most popular thing that people do is adding others on title to their stuff. I see it a lot where maybe somebody has passed and mom says, well, what if I pass away? I don't want my house to go to probate. I'm going to put my kid on title with me to my house. And I'm also going to throw him on title to my bank account, my checking, my savings, my CDs, because I want him to be able to get access to my money if I die or I become incapacitated. Well, that is a really bad idea, and I'm going to go into that in a little bit why, but that is just a Band-Aid because people don't know otherwise. They haven't learned about a better way yet. So that's why we're here, is to help them learn about there's a better way than putting others on title with you. But the best way is a revocable living trust. That is the ultimate way to set up your estate plan because it houses everything you need within the portfolio, your living trust, your pour-over wills, your powers of attorney for health and finance, the funding of your real estate into your trust, and also the access to the assistance to fund your financial accounts and help you understand what that process looks like to protect those things as well. So on the do nothing plan, it's an automatic probate if you pass away. It's just stuck in the courts because you haven't set up anything in writing. So nobody has any idea what your wishes are. So that has to go through that process of probate, which is court supervised. And you got to go and your heirs have to hire an attorney. They have to wait. The courts are really backed up right now. It's about 4 to 6 months just to get a date to appear. And then the attorneys get involved, and it's about 18 months down the road before your heirs can get access to your assets. The next way is people do a will, just like I talked about, just a simple will, and they think, okay, I'm good. I've got my will in place. But they forget that a will is just a simplified form that tells the courts who is going to get your stuff and who will be maybe the guardians of your minor children. But if you have assets like real estate, bank accounts, toys, if you have minor children or special needs children, a will isn't going to cut it for you. A will does not allow somebody to manage assets for your minors and special needs children because it just distributes assets directly to them. And that's a minor child cannot receive assets, and a special needs child should not receive assets they should receive everything through a revocable living trust. So, and the other issue about adding people to title to your home and your assets, you think about it. If you're putting other people on title to your home, if something happens to them, they get in trouble, they get divorced, maybe there's issues with the IRS or child support. If they're on title to any of your assets with you as a joint owner, then the 50% of your assets can be attacked. The IRS can just grab it and say, okay, he's on title to this bank account. I'm going to pay that child support. I've seen it happen. Client called me in tears saying, she even had a trust. She put her son on title to her bank account with her. I'm like, why? She goes, well, I just thought it was the right thing to do. But then he had child support that she had no idea about. And they went in and just grabbed that money. So, and also try to get them off title. That's the hardest part is, let's say you want to sell your house or you want to refinance your house. Well, that child has to be involved in that process and they have to agree for you to sell your house or refinance your house. So you've lost control when you put others on title with you. And also what's important to know is if you put your kid on title and you think that they're going to share everything if you pass away with the other siblings, you probably should think again, because they could argue that and say, well, no, mom meant to give me the house and all the bank accounts. I was her favorite. Sorry, brothers and sisters, mom didn't intend for you to do that. She's not here to defend herself anymore. So it's a very problematic situation when you throw kids on title to assets. So with a living trust, you're going to avoid all these problems. You're going to avoid the probate. All you really need is a death certificate when somebody passes away and a living trust naming you as successor trustee and your ID to show it to the bank and say, okay, I need to get access to mom's bank accounts. The bank, okay, show me your papers. And that's all they need. And financial partners will go, okay, yeah, we can do that. You can go right on that bank account as a trustee. Not an owner, you are a successor trustee. But that person can get onto that bank account and pay the mortgage, pay the gardener, keep the water going, fix the house up to be sold. They have access to money when it's in a living trust. If it was not, they would be shut out altogether. And they would have, a lot of the kids have to put things on their credit cards because they have to go through probate. So it's very stressful. And again, we talked about how it prevents conservatorship. You become incapacitated if you don't have a living trust and your powers of attorney in place. Guess what? Your kids are going to have to call an attorney to prepare a conservatorship, get that started for you because you don't have a power of attorney. And now the courts have to step into mom's life. Mom's alive, but the courts are involved now. There's an attorney on there. It costs about $5,000 to even start it to get a conservatorship over mom or dad. So you want to stay out of that altogether by setting up a living trust portfolio, which has the documents that allow you, the successor trustee and power of attorney people, to take over immediately for mom or dad. So basically, we talked about the time of probate, and I'm going to talk about the cost of probate. A lot of people don't realize this, but probate is based on the gross value of your assets. So let's say you have $1 million house, which is what everyone has down here right now. At least that's what the value of a little 1,000 square foot house is. It's $1 million house, but let's say that you've pulled some money out of it. Maybe you pulled $500,000 out of it. You've refinanced it, whatever. Okay. They're going to charge you a percentage of the $1 million, not the equity, the value of the house, plus the bank accounts and the cars and the toys. All that stuff is going to add up to give the gross value of the estate. And then they take a percentage of the gross value off the top. So you want to make sure that you're not putting your heirs who could use an extra $32,000, right? And avoid the cost and the headache of a probate, because probate, they have to get paid. I mean, the courts have to get paid, the judges, the attorneys, and they see this getting through the process. They have to get paid. How do they get paid? Out of the value of the estate that they're probating. So it's a big money maker for attorneys, and they love doing probate. They can get some really big ticket probates around California, and they love it. They make a lot of money. So you want to just avoid that altogether. Okay. And this is just based on a $400,000 estate, $32,000. That's crazy. Okay. So benefits of estate planning. Well, you've got your asset management documents, which, like I talked about, your power of attorney for financial affairs, super duper important. That's part of the estate planning and our living trust portfolio. You're also going to avoid the probate. You're going to minimize taxes. Now, you can pass on about $12 million per person. I think it's a little bit more now when you pass away. But if you're married, you can double that. So if you have a pretty large estate, you've got to have a living trust in order to at least grab as much of the exemptions that you can. Most of us don't have that kind of money. Middle America, this is kind of like for Middle America here. That's who we work with. Financial Partners works with Middle America. AmeriEstate works with Middle America. Don't get me wrong. Financial Partners has, a lot of other big business going on. And AmeriEstate, we work with a lot of other, different types. But majority is Middle America, right? So we just want to make sure that if you are in that higher echelon, that you're going to avoid as many taxes as you can by setting up a revocable trust. And again, make sure that you have the documents in place so the doctors and hospitals can talk to others on your behalf. And in there is the HIPAA authorization. And I'm sure whenever you guys are going in for some surgeries, they're asking you, do you have your healthcare directive? I know it because I've been doing it for the last year between my hip surgery and whatever else is going on. Do you have your healthcare directive? I'm like, yep, you better believe it. I got that. And they're like, thank you so much. And they want to know, because if you go into surgery without it and something bad goes wrong, they can't release any information about you to anybody. So make sure you have those things done before you go into any kind of surgery. So let's see. How do you start the process of setting up an estate plan? Well, the first process you have to get in your head is don't wait. Don't put it off anymore. It's so important, especially if you're getting up there in age and you don't have it, you probably need it, right? So take the first leap and give us a call or talk to financial partners. They'll help you see the light as well. And you want to make sure that you do this while you're feeling good. Because if you're not doing good and you wake up and you feel sick or you need to go to the hospital and you're just not in a good, sound mind, doing an estate plan is not going to be very exciting for you. It's not exciting, but you're not going to feel like making decisions because you're not feeling good. And a lot of people want to put that off because they're not feeling good. So, so you want to also know about the key events. I'm reading this. If you get married or divorced, if you purchase or refinance a home, you have a child or adopt a child, you're starting a business, an estate plan is super important because you've worked so hard for all that you have in life, right? That's what we do here on earth. We have our babies, we get married. Well, let's things first. We get married, have our babies, or vice versa, whatever. And then we're starting to accumulate assets. We have our homes, we have our cars, we have our toys, we have our investments. And we've worked so hard to get to this point. And if something happens, you become incapacitated or you pass away, all of that is going to be locked up. And it's going to have to go through this process where you've meant to do it. And the last thing you want to do is think about setting it up when something happens and you're in the hospital and you go, oh my gosh, I haven't done that yet. I've seen that happen so many times. It's like, oh my gosh, no. So just do it while you're feeling good. Okay. Do it while you can. Do it now. Don't wait. And so, why a living trust works best is because it's kind of like I could talk about it like this. This is like a corporation that you're setting up that you own and control. You're setting up this beautiful binder, which has everything in it, and you're packing it with your stuff. It's like your suitcase. You're going to pack your suitcase. But once you set it up, and we help you through the whole thing, we put the first thing we always put in your trust is your properties, your real estate, your land, your business, or your buildings, your business. And that's a simple process just by taking it out of your name as maybe husband and wife as joint tenant and retitling into husband and wife trustees of, I'm a Johnson, so mine is the Johnson Family Trust. It's as simple as that, doing a deed and recording it at the recorder's office. We take care of all that for you. When it comes to your bank accounts, after you sign your trust, you're going to call your financial partner's financial advisor, and you're going to tell them, I got my living trust through AmeriEstate. Thank you so much. Let's get back together and let's go ahead and put my financial accounts into my living trust now. And they're going to do all that paperwork for you to make sure that those are protected. Just know that if you have life insurance, 401ks, IRAs, those types of accounts, they do not get titled into your trust, but financial partners will make sure that you have your beneficiaries properly set up and are making your trust as like a contingent beneficiary it's just something that falls into place if something happens to your beneficiary. So what's the cost of something like this? Well, this is like a $6,000 estate plan. I know this to be fact because most attorneys charge that to set up an estate plan because they have to. They charge by the hour, and it takes a lot of time and energy to talk to the clients, get them educated, take their information, get it signed, do the updates, do the deeds. I mean, it's a lot of hours. So it works out to be about $6,000 is kind of the standard pricing. But with AmeriEstate, we are a lot less than that because we use it as a team. Okay, we're a team. We're AmeriEstate Legal Plan. So we take all the busy work away from the attorneys, and we do a lot of the upfront fact-finding and educating and guiding the clients to get that package to our attorneys, who will then call you and talk to you over the phone about with your legal advice and make sure that you are set up in a proper plan for you. And that's how we're able to bring the cost down to you. And as part of financial partners members, you also are able to enjoy a really good price as well. So this is basically right around where AmeriEstate's price is, $1,900 to $2,500. And that, what I'm saying here is we're adding some property in there. Like if you have more than one property, you have a business, maybe we need to assign your business to the trust. Those will go up in price. It's like $250 for a deed prep and all that. So I'm just giving you a range what AmeriEstate would charge. And then a traditional estate planning is about $3,000 to $6,000. So it really makes a lot of sense rather than going to the high-priced attorney, which is fine if that's what you want to do. Go in their office, sit in front of them, talk to them, and you don't mind that price. That's fine. Do it. If you want a really good price with an attorney involved as well, which is going to be over the phone, AmeriEstate would be a great fit for you. We're not for everybody, but we're for majority of people. And when it comes time to delivering the document, we're going to come to you to bring it to you to sign it and notarize. You don't have to go anywhere. So I don't care where you live. In the states that we're in, we will get it done for you. You don't have to be in Orange County or LA County. You can be in Northern Cal. You can be in some other states that we're in, like Arizona, Texas, Tennessee, Virginia, and Maryland. We're in those states as well. But California is our home state. That's where we started. We've been doing this for about 27 years now. And we have about 50,000 clients who have set up their estate plans with us. So we're here for the long haul. And if something happens to any of our attorneys, they retire, they pass away, they don't want to do it anymore, it's fine. You're not going to be abandoned because we'll have our other attorneys come in and take over. So you won't have to find a whole new law firm to get your estate plan updated. So know that we've been doing this a long time and servicing our clients. So I'm getting down to the end of this presentation. We're into this about 45 minutes. And if any of you would like to give us make a comment, feel free to use the chat button. We're happy to answer some questions. We do have some time here. If you have questions for Lily, or if you have questions for me, feel free to put your questions in the chat right here. I don't know if I see any, but yes, I see some chats going on now that I have clicked on it. Oh boy. But here's our information. Go ahead and write that down if you want to talk to Lily a little bit about an estate reverse mortgage. There's her number. I think Lily is just a wealth of knowledge, and I think she would be such a nice fit for a lot of you if you're looking to get a reverse mortgage. And then if you want to talk about getting a living trust with AmeriEstate, here's our phone number. Feel free to email advisors@ameriestate.com. You're welcome to call me or email me as well. I'm happy to talk to you. So I'm going to leave this slide up for you, and I'm going to get to some of the questions to see if anything is a good one that we can talk about. Oh, how do I collapse and clear the chat window? I'm so sorry, Joseph. I don't know what happened there. Oh, Diamond. Diamond works at Diamond Boo Lions is a partner with Lily, by the way. So, and she's on the chat. So thank you so much, Diamond. We couldn't have Diamond on because we could only have 2 presenters. And Mario with Financial Partners was going to come on, but he's like, it's okay. I'm like, sorry, Mario, I can't give you a screen. But I'm here and Lily's here. So thank you, Diamond, for jumping in on some of these questions and answers. Is a lien placed on the property, or how is the document on the title?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the reverse, it's just like any other mortgage. So it is a lien on the home, and it will be on title.
Okay. Oh, and I see Diamond did reply to that too. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, Diamond's been very helpful. Thank you, Diamond.
Thank you, Diamond. Oh, yeah, Diamond's on it. Diamond. Can everybody see the chats? Let's see. Are you saying I have to pay off my mortgage with the reverse mortgage? That's yes.
Yeah, I mean, generally the reverse does have to be in first position. So any liens or mortgages currently on the home do have to be paid off by the reverse.
Mm-hmm. Here's one. Do you want me? Can everybody see the chats? Should I read them, or can everybody see them? I think everyone can see the chats. Let's see here. Reverse mortgage may be part of your retirement income plan. Typically, yeah. Okay, so Diamond's on it. I don't think I need to, unless if you think I should read the questions and answers.
I mean, Diamond got most of them that were during our presentation. There's a couple of trust questions. I don't know if I think Anna and Teresa had some trust questions.
Okay. Thank you so much, Diamond. Oh, Peter says, especially in California. Yeah, yeah. Will the living trust is better than the LLC, or is the living trust what? I'm not quite sure what Anna's saying. Okay, we got to the charges, the cost of a living trust. Genevieve wants you to call her. Diamond will do that. Let's see. Is there anyone who follows up on the executor to ensure he is following the trust? Well, the beneficiary should. And if they need help and that executor is not, fulfilling their obligation, or in a trust, it's a successor trustee, they're obligated to, certain standards as a successor trustee. So sometimes the beneficiaries have to hire an attorney to nudge that successor trustee to do their job. AmeriEstate's here also if people need help with settling an estate. We're here to coach people and just make sure they understand the rules when somebody dies and things that need to happen when somebody dies. There's some notifications in California that must go out. There's things that need to happen, so it's all clear and concise, because beneficiaries do come around after the fact sometimes, and they hire up and they have an attorney get involved. And if you've got all your documents in a row where they're supposed to be, the attorney will go, they did everything right, there's nothing we can do. You can't, if you're contesting, you're not going to win because they followed all the rules. That's happened a lot. And we're here to help. What's the current interest rate? Let's see, for a reverse mortgage.
Today, the range is high 5% to mid 6% for the FHA HECM program. The proprietary programs do generally have a bit of a higher range. Those are in the 8 to 9%, I believe. But that's kind of the general range right now.
Okay, that's still good. What if we already have a living trust and we still do a reverse mortgage with AmeriEstate? Yeah, absolutely. You can do a reverse mortgage anytime you want. You can get your reverse. You can get a living trust anytime. If you have a living trust, you might want to get it reviewed with us. If it's old, a lot of things have changed, and maybe you need to update some documents. Give us a call. We'll take a look at it and kind of let you know for free what's recommended and what you want to do. But if you have a living trust, sure, you can get a reverse mortgage. If you don't have a living trust, you can get a reverse mortgage. Neither needs to come before the other. But what's good to know is if you already have an AmeriEstate living trust, we have all the reverse mortgage language in our trust. So the reverse mortgage lender will be very happy when they see, because they a lot of times want to see the trust document, right?
Yes. Yeah, we review the trust.
We have to have the HECM, right?
Yep.
Language in there. And all our trusts have that language in there. So the reverse mortgage lender is very happy when they see our trust and you want to get a reverse mortgage. And you have an AmeriEstate trust, you're good to go. They won't give you any hassle. Let's see, after setting up a trust, do you still need to contact every institution you have money in to have it included? Yes, you do, but we'll help you with that. We'll help guide you. We have a whole video on what you need to do. If you are with financial partners, they're on top of it. They know that we have the trust done. We can send them a copy of what they need in the trust, and they can just get the paperwork started for you. They're very efficient. If you have money with other institutions, then yes, you're going to need to contact them and let them know, I have a living trust. I would like to retitle that bank account, that savings, that investment account into my trust. And so we have all those instructions, and we're here to help you. Call us. We'll tell you what you need to know. Let's see. There's some other reverse mortgage ones in here. Is there a time limit like a mortgage on a reverse mortgage? That's a good question.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. There is no time limit on a reverse mortgage. So the loan will not be called due and payable until the last borrower moves out of the home, passes away, or the home is sold. So if you get a reverse mortgage when you're 62 and you live there until you're 102, as long as you're keeping up on those loan obligations, you live in the home is maintained, and you're paying property taxes and insurance, you can remain in the home. So there's no term like a normal mortgage.
Okay, Ann Bo said, wrong grammar. Will the trust be better than an LLC? If not, why? Well, everybody needs a trust. An LLC does not avoid probate. And an LLC does not tell anybody who's going to get your stuff. An LLC does not have a will. It's just an LLC. An LLC is like a business entity. A lot of people do LLCs for maybe rental properties that they have to put a bubble around those so it's not part of their personal estate. Or maybe they have a business LLC where they're conducting a business. But your foundation is your living trust. Everybody needs to have a living trust if they qualify for the certain assets, like houses, minor children, special needs children, all that. A living trust is your foundation, and then you build from there. Let's say you want to also do an LLC because you have a rental, do that LLC, but we're going to attach that LLC to the trust through an assignment. We're going to prepare that so that LLC is attached, because that LLC can go to probate. If it has assets, you have a bank account, business bank account, and it's in your LLC or corporation. If you don't have a trust, all those assets will go to probate as well. So you got to attach it to your trust. Hope that kind of explains it. Do you have 50-year mortgages yet?
Like I said, the reverse doesn't have a term. The 50-year mortgage is a totally separate program.
Okay. What's the max value of a reverse mortgage for FHA?
The lending limit for the FHA HECM, it's just over $1.2 million. So if you have a home that's like 1.5, the appraisal comes in at 1.5. We will use the lending limit of 1.2 to calculate your loan amount. But like I said, if you have a much higher value home, we do have proprietary programs that do not have that lending limit. So there are definitely options for, different home values.
Awesome. Let's see. Can you make monthly withdrawals?
Yeah, the reverse, it's very flexible. So there are multiple payout options. You can get cash at close, and you can also set up a line of credit. So with that line of credit, you would be able to draw, whatever you would like, whenever you would like, depending on the amount of proceeds you have available. Or you can also set up monthly payments, to hit your bank account every month if you would like. So we can, look at your numbers and see what payout options work best for you.
Cool. Let's see here. This is estate planning side by Joseph. Can you help set up an LLC for rental property in addition to setting up an estate plan? Yes, you can, and we can do that for you. And yes, it's an added cost. You'd have to call in and we'll give you a quote. I think they're $16.95. I'm not sure. I call in. We'll let you know. Let's see here. Okay. Diamond, she's been very helpful. I appreciate that. Okay. I think we have answered most of the questions. I'm going to go to the top to see if anybody, Greg, good evening, Greg. Hello. And also just wanted to reiterate to you, we have a lot of special needs children out there, it seems, these days, whether they're autistic or just whatever's going on. I don't know. Maybe I'm more in tune to it because I see it in my Facebook feed because my daughter's boyfriend has a special needs sister. So it's kind of in my mind. And it just seems there's a lot of that going on. But It's very, very important that the parents of special needs children, whether they're minors or adults, have a living trust, because they can pass money on to those special needs children if it's in a revocable living trust that has special needs provisions in it. When the parents pass, the trust will hold the money as if they aren't beneficiaries, but they really are. So it does not affect the benefits that they get from the state. Because if the state finds out they're inheriting a bunch of money and all of a sudden mom and dad had nothing in place, or maybe they just had a will, and all of a sudden all this money is going to be given to this child, all their state benefits will be canceled for the most part. And it's not a good situation. Maybe they're in housing and, they have all kinds of great services over because they have money now. So just know that a living trust is super important. They don't have to set up a standalone special needs trust. Just as long as the parents have one of these, that special needs child will be very well taken care of through the trust after they're gone. So just want to let you know that's really important. It hits home with me, and I wanted to bring that up. So with that said, we are on the dot at 1 hour, guys. So I'm going to let y'all go and get some dinner. And thank you for showing up today. Appreciate it. Thank you, financial partners, for putting this together. Lily and I appreciate being here to talk to your members and help educate them and you. And hopefully you've learned a lot. And if you need to set up a reverse mortgage or an estate plan, or you just want to talk, give us a call. We're here for you. We love our clients. We love financial partner members. Everyone is just awesome. And we hope you have a wonderful holiday season, and we will talk to you later. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.